Hello, our most developed student. My name is Confident and welcome to our 24-minute lesson. This is the ultimate guide in maths, science, career guidance, as well as a sneak peek in my personal experiences. This is a channel that is designed with you in mind. Let us dive into today's lesson. In this video on our ultimate guide in mathematics with grade 11, we are continuing to look at the surds and exponents. In particular, I'm now focusing on surds. So I've done quite a few videos which were focused on exponents, so I will encourage you to grab hold of those videos. So now I want us to just get a little bit of understanding on what you might expect when they're talking about surds. It says examples continued without a calculator show that, and then they give you that. But let's lay a few foundation here when they're talking about surds that you need to remember. Remember, when I say square root of 2 times, for example, square root of 4, this is same as saying square root of A times square root of B is equal to square root of A times B. You must remember this exponent, and that is mostly that. And when you are rationalizing, if I want to rationalize, for example, I'm given 1 over square root of A. To rationalize is multiply by square root of A at the top and square root of A at the bottom, so that you have got square root of A times square root of A over A. But you must remember, a square root times a square root is equal to, for example, square root of A and A, you get that A. So you've got square root of A over A. So these are a few things that sometimes you just need to be aware of. So rationalization is what is mostly needed here. So what I'm given, this is 4 marks, for example, number 3 here. If I'm given this question to say 2 over, let me use this one. If I'm given 2 over 1 plus square root of 2 here, and then minus 8 over square root of 8, and then they said I must show that that is equal to negative 2. You can even test it with the calculator here. If I just say 2 over 1 plus square root of 2, and then I'll say minus 8 over square root of 8 equal to, you see, it gives me that negative this. So now what I need to do, I need to rationalize the denominators. Whenever you see a denominator in the square root and a denominator, you need to do what is called rationalize. All right, to rationalize, that's what I was saying when I said if you're given 1 over square root of A, you multiply that by square root of A over square root of A. So it's easier with that side. Are you seeing that? So that it's easier with the 8 at the square root of 8 at the bottom. But what about if you're given that? So if I'm given 1 over, for example, A, square root of A plus square root of B, what you need to do, you need to multiply by what you can, and not really an inverse, but more like look at this. If it's plus, I will say minus, like it's a difference of 2 squares. You see this? So it's square root of A plus square root of B, then I multiply by square root of A minus, so that it becomes what? A difference of 2 squares. Remember, the top and the bottom must be the same. Why? So that when I cancel it out, it means I didn't change anything. You see that? But you must multiply by that. If it's a plus, you multiply by a what? By a minus, so that it becomes a difference of 2 squares. So now when I'm rationalizing that part, what I will have is I will have 2 over 1 plus square root of 2. Now let's rationalize times, and then what I'm going to have here, put the brackets now, and then I'm going to have 1 instead of plus is minus square root of 2. You see that? That's what I have to rationalize, as well as 1 minus square root of 2. it must be the same. What you do on top is what you do at the bottom. So now when you're multiplying something like this, 1 plus square root of 2, 1 minus square root of 2, it is the same as saying a minus b, and then you multiply a plus b. When you're multiplying the difference of two squares, you are multiplying a times a, and then a times b, and minus b times a, and then b times that. If you say a times a, it's a squared, and then a times b is plus ab, minus b times a minus ab, minus b times b minus b squared. But I want you to take note of the center. It's ab minus ab. This becomes 0. So you are left with a squared minus b squared. You see, it's a difference of two squares. So literally, if I'm saying a minus b and I'm multiplying a plus b, just know that I'm taking in the first one and the last one. So you're saying a times a, which is a squared, and the last one minus b times b, which is minus b squared. You must know that the center parts are going to cancel out at the end of the day. Are you with me? So that's the same thing you could have done, but if you're not sure and you don't trust it, you just have to follow the long procedure. It's still fine. So from here, what do I have? It's minus 8 over square root of 8. Now if I rationalize, it's times square root of 8 over square root of 8. I see that I have to do that. Then let's multiply there. Now the top one, remember, 2 multiplies and 2 multiplies. So what I have, 2 times 1, it's 2 minus 2 root 2, alright, over, now remember the part I was referring to, say 1 times, you can multiply that and then multiply that, it will be the same. But if you want to prove it, multiply long like this, it will still give you the same. 1 times 1, it's 1, 1 times negative 2, negative root 2, root 2 times 1 plus root 2, and then root 2 times root 2. Now look at this, it's root 2, this is plus root 2 times root 2 minus 8 root 8 on top over square root of 8 times square root of 8. I'm just making it a bit longer here, but it was not necessary for me to do this. Now on top of that, it will be 2 minus 2 root 2 all over. Now you see what I was talking about, minus root 2 plus root 2. This goes, that's the 2 that are going. Now square root of 2 times square root of 2, a square root and times another square root of the same number, you get that number. So here I'm going to have 1 plus 2. You see, I have rationalized. There is no more a square root at the bottom. Minus 8 square root of 8 over, now square root of 8 times square root of 8, again it is that number. Are you with me of what I'm doing? And then we continue to say equal to, here what you have is, now you have to simplify it like this. If I say 2 minus 2 root 2 over 1 plus 2, which is 2 minus 2 root 2 over 1 plus 2 is what? 1 minus 2. I don't know why I say plus. Careful there. Remember, it's, am I right to say it was a negative? Let's check this. It was supposed to be root 2 is square root of 2 times negative. There is a negative here. If I'm saying 2 times negative 2, you needed to be careful here. There is a negative here. It was not supposed to be a positive. It's minus. So 1 minus 2 is negative 1. And then here, cancel out the 8 and cancel out the 8. What you get? It's minus square root of 8 over also what? Over 1. So Now this is where things were actually needed to be careful. Now minus 1 dividing by this, it just interchanges the top to say minus 1 divided by 2 is negative 2, minus 1 divided by negative 2 root 2 is positive 2 root 2. It was just a matter of interchanging the top, and then minus the 1 there won't change anything. It's square root of 8, which is equal to, still continuing, look at this. If I convert 8, if you take a calculator and you convert 8 into a surd, but remember they say don't use a calculator, but look at this. If I say square root of 8, what is it? It's 2 root 2. But now where do they get this 2? Remember 8 is same as saying minus 2 plus 2 square root of 2. Now you need to show that you never used a calculator. Minus, now the calculator gave me this. It says square root of 8 is equal to 2 root 2. You need to know where they got this 2. You just square it. 2 squared is what? Is 4. Hence it's square root of 4 times is square root of 4 times square root of 2. That's where they got that 2 squared. So when you see the 2 squared, you square it to get square root of 4 times square root of 2. This is the 2 root 2. So in here you're going to say square root of 4 times square root of 2, which is equal to minus 2 plus 2 square root of 2, alright, and then minus 2 square root of 2. The aim here is to be careful with the calculator thing. Now 2 square root of 2 minus 2 square root of 2, you can see that this cancels to give us a 0, and the answer becomes negative 2, which is our right hand side. So what we started here, you can come back here and say you started with the left hand side. Remember proving, which is equal to the right hand side, and the answer is correct. Are you with me? So that is that, guys. It's a proof that wasn't really difficult in a way, but worth it. Now look at this other one. They say without using a calculator, show that it's 4 marks. These are 4 marks questions, but now always remember, whenever you're dealing with surds, most of the time they will want you to what? To rationalize. So those are the ones that I focused on here. Same thing here. Can you try this one on your own? Can you try it? Try it. It's an activity. Try this one on your own and use the same method that I used here. It's exactly the same question in actual fact. If you look at it, 1 plus square root of 2, here it's square root of 8. 1 plus square root of 2, square root of 2 plus 1 square root of 2 is the same. Here you rationalize that, and then they're saying the answer will be that. Try it on your own. It must actually give you the same answer. Can you try it? If you tried it well, remember the question, what I say, without a calculator you must show this. Can you try it on your own? What are you getting? Try it. How do you try it? Pause this video, work it out, and then check the answer against mine. Now let's do it. As I said, you start with the left hand side. Okay, what do you have? Square root of 2 over square root of 2 plus 1 plus 4 over square root of 2, and then this is equal to, rationalization now kicks in. That's where we are going to rationalize. And when we rationalize, remember focus. The focus is on the bottom first. It's square root of 2 over square root of 2 plus 1. Now what must I do? I must multiply this by what? By interchange the signs, which is square root of 2 minus 1, to make it a difference of 2 squares. But once you do that, also close that bracket, because you have to expand that. So it will be square root of 2 plus 1, square root of 2 minus 1. So it's more like a difference of 2 squares. And then what you do at the bottom, you do also at the what? You do also at the top. Don't forget to put the bracket. It's very important. And then you have got plus 4 over square root of 2. Now when the one that is you are having is not really difficult. You multiply by square root of 2 over square root of 2. Since there is no plus or minus, you don't need to put a bracket in that case. Alright, now what do we have? This then will become, as I told you, it's a matter of multiplying the first one and multiplying the last one. It's one and the same thing, but the top is the one that is different because that multiplies and that multiplies. It is here that the difference of two squares, you multiply the first and the last. So on top it's square root of 2 times square root of 2 minus square root of 2 times 1 is minus square root of 2, all over at the bottom square root of 2 times square root of 2, and then the last one is minus 1 times 1, which is negative 1, plus then you multiply the top 4 square root of 2 over square root of 2 times square root of 2. I'm just writing this so that you can see where the answers come from at the end of the day. Now look at this. If you have to continue here, square root of 2 times square root of 2, when you repeat a square root of the same number, you get that number. It's 2 minus square root of 2 over, at the bottom again, square root of 2 square root of 2. It's 2 minus 1. You see, we have rationalized, plus 4 square root of 2 over square root of 2 square root of 2 is over 2. Am I right, guys? And then what we have, 2 minus 1 is 1. So you've got 2 minus square root of 2 over 1. You can ignore that and let it like that because 1 doesn't change anything. Plus, and then 2 into that, 2 into 4 it's 2, and then you've got 2 square root of 2. Right, and then if you continue here, what you have is to say, now look at this, you mustn't get this confused now. You see, you've got minus 2 root 2 plus, minus 2 plus 2 root 2. Now it might confuse some because they will be like, but what do I do after this? It mustn't confuse you at all because you can actually take out this. This is common. It's like if I say to you, let square root of 2 be equal to x. Look what you have. You will have 2 minus x, where there is square root of 2 you put x, plus 2x. So in a way I'm saying, what is 2 minus x plus 2x? You see, this is common. This is same as saying 2 plus 2x minus x, which is equal to 2x minus x is plus x. Are you seeing that? So similarly, you have got 2 plus 2 square root of 2 minus square root of 2. If you want to make it even easier for you, you can say 2 plus, you factor out that, which is square root of 2 inside the bracket. You say that into that, you've got 2 left, that into that, you have got 1 left. So you see that, so you have got that into that, it's 2 minus 1, which is equal to 2 plus square root of 2. 2 minus 1 is 1, and the answer will be at 2 plus square root of 2. And if you check, this is 2 plus square root of 2, which is the what? Which is equal to our right hand side. Alright, so that is how you can actually, guys, solve some of these, and it becomes easier for you. It becomes very, very much easier for you when you can understand the concept of rationalization. Okay, so this is where mainly the lesson is geared on. You need to know how to rationalize. Just before we end the lesson, I just wanted to give you one common also question that they can bring, which I did not include here. Let me write it down here. Let me write this question down here. For example, they can give you, let's say, 2 square root of 18 and say minus 3 square root of 32. Maybe they say over square root of 2 minus square root of 8. Look at this. Sometimes they can give you this, and in a way they want you, this is square root of 18. They say 2 square root of 18, and the question here will be what? Simplify. of course you need to simplify and no calculator. Can you try that? Can you try that for me? No calculator. How will you do it? If I take a calculator here, of course when they say no calculator, that's when I pick up the calculator and try to find out why is it that they don't want me to use the calculator. This is 2 square root of 8 minus 3 square root of 32. I hope I wrote this right because I was just writing it over square root of 2 minus square root of 8. For example, look at this. I'm getting the answer as 8. So how can I make this become 8? So look at this. What you need to do, they won't give you a number that is just random. That's what I was trying to do. I was giving you a number that has got something common with it. For example, look at this. If I say square root of 8, what do you see? It's 2 root 2. But I told you, you square that 2, it will be square root of 4 times square root of 2. If I say square root of 32, you see again root 2 is coming in. It's 4 root 2. But what is 4? 4 squared, it's 16. So it's square root of 16 times square root of 2. Are you with me? So you see square root of 2 is repeating. So here I have, if I continue with it, let me connect like this. It's 2 plus, remember they said no calculator, is square root of 4 times square root of 2 minus 3 times square root of 16. It was 4 there, times square root of 2. Check it, it was 4 root 2. So what is 4 squared? It's 16 root 2 in terms of square root. You put back the square root. So it's square root of 16, which is 4, and then root 2. See what I'm doing? And then all over square root of 2 minus 8 again gave me square root of 4 times square root of 2. And then from there, that's when you can say 2 plus 2 root 2. There is 2 there, minus 3 plus, times, there is 3 times 4 root 2, that is our 4, over square root of 2 minus 4 root 2, which is 2 square root of 2. Are you with me? Then from here, what we need to do, it's up to you what to do, but the answer is already showing here. You factorize. That's where the key part is. You factorize the square root of 2. Am I right? Let me just check here. It was not 2 plus. It's not supposed to be a plus here. Let's correct that. It's 2 root 8, not 2 plus. So in here and in here, I was supposed to have a 2 and have a 2. So sorry for that. 2 root what? It's 2 root 8. Actually, this is the right way. And then if you check, and then it's 2 times, because it was 2 times 4, which is like that. So anyway, let's continue. What we do now, you can factorize then is square root of 2. You see, it's common. So when you factorize it, what you'll have, you're going to have square root of 2 outside. Here you'll be left with 2 times 2, which is 4 minus 3 times 4, which is 12, over, again, square root of 2, and then square root of 2 into square root of 2, you are left with 1 here. At this side, you are left with 1 minus 2. Okay, so when you continue, remember the answer was 8. The question is, where did they get the 8? Which is equal to, that's where this cancels, you see now? And then 4 minus 12, it's negative 8, over 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Then the answer becomes what? The answer becomes 8. So this is one way I was trying to say to you. You can also find questions like this. But the key part here is to simplify in their simplest, in their simplest form, but you will see something shaping or something forming. Like in this case, it was square root of 2, square root of 2, square root of 2, square root of 2. But anyway, guys, we've come to the end of our lesson. This was on SURDS, which before that was exponents. Now the next lessons are the most important ones. Now if you go back to the beginning, we said you are looking at what exponent and sets. Now the next lesson, we are now focusing on equations and inequalities. And if you now look at the first part here is now focused on what? On equations, you see. So these are simple equations. Can you solve this? You can pause the video, try them yourself, but you need to join me in the next lesson, and I'm going to show you how to be sensitive and careful not to make errors. Here, that's where it's 2 marks, but those marks can cause you to you can lose those 2 marks as simple as they are. And then it will continue in another lesson. We're going to complete a square and use the quadratic equation, and then we continue in another lesson whereby we're solving equations involving square roots. All these are the lessons. Then there will be another lesson of exponential equations. There will be another lesson of inequalities. There will be another lesson of simultaneous equations. So you see, you've got quite a number of lessons that are following, but it's very important for you to be subscribed so that you can be notified when I'm adding these videos. We've come to the end of our lesson. If you are benefiting from this channel, don't forget to give me a shout. Guys, I also have an Instagram page. Now let me write this page. It's my Insta page. They call it the Insta handle. You guys know better. It's called Confi Nkwazi. My surname is Nkwazi. That's my Instagram. Connect with me on this, and then of course, if let's say you've got a question that you want to send, take a picture, send it on my Instagram handle Confi Nkwazi, and then I can take it from there. I can either write an answer quick and take a picture and send it back on that part where you can follow and see the solution, or I can make a quick video for you, and or we can have a private dialogue. It's possible. Alright guys, so Confi Nkwazi is my Instagram handle, so check it out. We've come to the end of our lesson. Thank you.